found it yet? You're bumming me out.
Man, I gotta know what this is, or
You haven't even given me like a beat, bro. How am I supposed to work with
because
that?
I can't think of it, but I fucking know I
Oh,
like it.
fucking inbred. You should check out a movie.
Actually, I do like Civil War for some reason, but that's not that one.
Not a bad song. You should check out the movie Barbarian on HBO Max. Way to go, dipshit.
You saw that?
Yeah, of course I saw it. I'm looking right at you. Fucking doofus.
That's gone forever. It's on the garage
You're not
floor.
gonna
It's gone
pick it
forever.
up? Come on, you can dust it off. It's giving you cancer either way.
No, because I could take my side
Come
off.
on, it's just it's got a filter on it. It'll filter the dirt right out.
All
It's
right.
fucking
Well, I'm
tickling my
at.
throat.
I'm. Oh, My Michelle. That's not the song I was thinking of, though. My Michelle's a good one.
Oh, can you find the fucking song, please? We can get off of it. It's Live and Let Die.
It's not.
Chocolate Tooth
It's
Fairy.
not Out to Get Me either. Out to Get Me is pretty good. You know what though? The more I think about this, fucking Appetite for Destruction's a good fucking album.
It is. It's a great album. Wow.
Rocket Queen.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
Rocket Queen.
I'm not familiar with that one.
She's my Rocket Queen. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that song sucks. That's why I don't listen to it. It's
Okay.
not good at all. It's a shitty choice, and I think you owe this country an apology.
No, my favorite for Rocket Queen, they don't play on the radio. I would say my two favorites are Mr. Brownstone or the other one I said.
You like Queen?
Night Train.
You listen to Queen?
Yeah, but not. Yes, I like some Queen. Not all Queen.
I like some Queen as well. You ever hear the live cut of "We Will Rock You," the fast-paced rock and roll version?
No, but I don't like that song.
Nah, dude, it's so good. So the first time I heard it was with their new singer, Adam Lambert. We saw him live. And it literally is a guitar riff, and the tempo's got like a "We Will," but it's sped up, and it's an actual rock song. Like they took that song, which is not a rock song, and turned it into a real. If you can look, there's one. I have two versions on Spotify, but there's one that I think they recorded in Japan, where it's the full fast-paced live rock version.
Okay.
It's fucking awesome.
I'll check it out.
No, you won't. Anywho, how's your week been?
Hey, what's your?
Oh, what?
Well, my week's been fine. I was gonna ask you, since we're talking about music. Fuck. Then you sidetracked me to the Queen.
What? Since we're talking about music, what is my
Mr. Brownstone? We've been dancing with Mr. Brownstone.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your favorite Van Halen song?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to say something off of Van Halen 3. That's the like critically hated Van Halen. That's without Hagar or Lee Roth. I don't know, man.
Well, first and foremost, Lee Roth or Van Hagar?
It's hard, man. Lee Roth was a harder Van Halen. But Van Hagar was a better put together band, albeit they did ballads. But you mean to tell me you can't get with some Hagar? Here we go, round, round, round. As he's dancing with his Jerry curl in the middle of this fucking spinning thing. You ever see that video?
Actually, yeah, but I actually prefer Sammy Hagar alone.
Oh yeah, Hagar by himself still a rocking 70-year-old something bastard, man. He's awesome. Dude,
hauling heavy metal.
Can't drive 50 foot. What about Chickenfoot? You like Chickenfoot? I had a hard time getting into Chickenfoot.
No.
That was the that was the Hagar supergroup. I don't know, man. David Lee Roth is like Van Halen with Roth is a heavier Van Halen. They're much more
Yes.
at that point a progressive rock band. But
Almost heavy metal.
almost. Oh, for its era, yeah, almost. I
Yeah.
mean, when you hear that cover of "You Really Got Me," that's
Yeah.
still a badass cover.
Have you ever
"Eruption" is
heard
still a badass song.
yeah, have you ever heard well, Hot for Teacher's badass.
Hot for Teachers still like, and that's the thing is like each like the Hagar and the Lee Roth eras have a different feel, right? Like you're driving on a Saturday morning to go do something, and fucking "You Really Got Me" or "Hot for Teacher" comes on, you crank it. All right, man, yeah, fuck it. Same thing as you're driving on like a Sunday afternoon, and I can't drive 55 as Hagar alone, but you
Yeah.
know, what is? I mean, he had how many of
Dancing
them?
in the Street.
That was not that's the Stones, isn't it?
No, they covered it.
Oh, did they? Well, you remember what's
Yeah.
that song that starts off with the synthesizer where it's like tin, 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 and then it's got the dung, the piano chord that comes in. I don't think there was any guitars in the song at all.
Isn't Jump Hagar?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, that is. That
Dude,
song.
all right,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna Google right now a list of Hagar Sam because like you can't argue the fact that they had more commercial success under Hagar.
Oh no, I'm not gonna argue that. They reached a broader audience. They weren't as heavy.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna argue.
I will argue that the songs themselves. All right, here we go. Yeah. Oh my God. So, Ain't Talking About Love, Running with the Devil. These are all Lee Roth songs. Hard to not like
Uh,
those.
oh, so you're on Lee Roth. Yeah.
But so
Dude, what
Hagar's got. Wait, no, Jump had to have been. What? When did Hagar come into the fucking band?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a Van
Here
Halen
we go.
historian.
Fuck you. You brought this up. Here we
I know.
go. Cabo Wabo is an actual Van Halen song. When It's Love.
Yes.
When This Be Love. Okay.
Yeah.
Top of the World. I don't remember that one. Love Walks In. Pound Cake. Best of Both Worlds. Finish What You Started. Why Can't This Be Love? Okay. Right now. That was a big one.
Yeah.
And Dreams, I think.
So is When Will This Be Love?
I think. Let's see. Hold on. No, that's not the one. It might be when or Why Can't This Be Love? Yeah, so okay. Oh, that is a big one, bro. Let's see this one.
1, 2. Come on, baby.
Oh, Finish What You Started. Okay, I remember that
Yeah,
one.
come on, baby, finish what you started.
Okay.
I know this song.
So Best of Both Worlds, I know that. Okay, Pound Cake. Which one is this?
Pound Cake's a single. I know it's a hit.
That's really one of the heaviest Hagar songs, huh?
I know.
Love Walks In. Love Walks In. Yeah, so there was an era of the Hagar era was the era of synthesizers for Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm kind of a Hagar guy just because I don't like David Lee Roth.
So I don't know, but I was going to tell you my favorite Van Halen song. I don't know if you ever heard it. Is Mean Street.
That was among the greatest listed.
Yeah, it's fucking heavy too.
Van Halen's a weird band because they really did go from like late 70s pretty heavy to ballads.
Yeah.
Also, there's that story of Eddie Van Halen, playing the solo on Thriller. You ever hear that story?
No, is that real?
Yeah, he there's a thing on YouTube where he tells it and he's like, well, I don't know, man. He's like, Quincy Jones called me, told me he's got this black kid doing a record, can I do some guitar work on it? And he's like, so I said, yeah, fuck it. I was in the area. He's like, I think I was doing something in the studios anyways. And so, yeah, I just go ahead. I didn't have anything. I just kind of recorded it. And, yeah, that's me on there.
Did you know that, it's kind of the same story. That's Kerry King on No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Interesting. Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then if you actually listen to the solo, it's definitely Kerry King.
I'll have to
Just
listen to
whammy
that.
polls.
I'll have to listen to that again to see. I've never thought of that. I mean, but that's
But
happened a
it's-
lot, I'm sure. How many of these guys before they were famous did studio work? If they were exceptionally
with-
talented.
Well, the thing with Kerry King and the Beastie Boys is they were both being produced by Rick Rubin. They were both
Okay.
on Def Jam.
Okay.
And they were both in the studio at the same time. And they were like, Kerry, would you come down here and just lay down a track? And we'll give you $50. And he was like, yeah, sure. Add in a case of beer. And they're like, okay. So like all of Slayer hung out with the Beastie Boys while Kerry King laid down some fucking licks.
And look at what happened to the Beastie Boys. One of them died of cancer.
And if you ask Kanye, they deserved it.
Oof. All right, so I don't want
I
to
didn't
go.
say it. Kanye did.
I don't want to go super heavy into the politics today. I'd like a lighter-hearted episode, but we have to address the ye in the room. Now,
Yeah.
I'll start it this way. I'm in America. I say it whatever the fuck way I want. So,
All right.
what is your opinion on the Kanye situation? What is going on here?
Well, I think maybe sometimes he doesn't use the best words, but I will say this. I did a 2-hour deep dive into Kanye's psyche, I guess, on because we're all, anytime Kanye says anything that we don't agree with, we're all of a sudden all psychiatrists and
I know I am.
took psychology. We all have a master's in psychology now.
I do.
So we are to able to diagnose Kanye. And I'm sorry, he's the artist formerly known as Kanye. He is now Ye.
Oh,
Sorry.
good for him.
And first of all, I gotta say, the first hour and a half of him on Lex Friedman, which is what I listen to, is extremely entertaining. Just for the fact of he's refusing to take any pushback. Although at all times he's saying, yeah, I'll take any pushback you have. He keeps referring to the Jewish media, and Lex Friedman, being a Russian Jew, keeps pushing against that. He's like, that's not a thing. And he's like, well, it is. Kanye saying, he's like, well, it is. And Lex Friedman's like, well, it's not. He's like, you're talking about specific people. And he goes, no. And then towards the end that I stopped listening at like the 2-hour mark. It was a 2-hour and 20-minute episode. And I couldn't. Kanye ended up doing what Kanye always does and just babbling about stuff I like, designers, and he's an engineer of fashion.
Yeah, the engineer thing, because I watched part of it where he goes into nothing else should be taught in schools beside engineering, because we're all engineers, which is very H.R. Ginger sort of type writing of Aliens, Prometheus sort of thing, which I found a little weird.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that point. But there's a point where finally, like, Lex Friedman is like, dude, stop calling it the Jewish media. And he's like, okay, fine, I'll refer to it as JM. And just like keeps moving and refers to the JM like 5 more times.
Okay, so
and it's just like, and like every time Lex Friedman's like, oh god damn it.
I do hate that I have to ask this question, right?
Yeah.
Because I know your opinion on this sort of thing, or at least I think I do.
No.
Do you think this is a guy who is for attention speaking on stereotypical tropes as a scapegoat for why people are canceling him? Do you think this is a guy who maybe did have inner working scenes, or is this where he saw something or was told or whatever? Or is this a guy who is just bananas? Because that's the 3 options, really. Either it's legitimate what he's saying, it's crazy what he's saying, or it's a different motive. Like it's for attention, it's promotion, whatever.
Well, I'm not gonna say 100% he's legitimate, I guess, in his opinions. Well, I am. I think he is speaking from seeing the belly of the beast because of other things he says in the interview.
So you would say that would then mean that there is somewhat of a Jewish cabal on the media.
Yeah, and I can see it, and I'll dive further. I'm not saying what is kind of my opinion, but
No, let's do this. This is 100% your opinion.
yeah, that's fine. But to hear Kanye speak to it, I guess, and it's and to see the people denounce him that he's made, you know, records for,
Well,
and turn their
there's two things here. The Adidas specifically, I do find funny that it was founded by a Nazi, and here they are getting mad about anti-Semitism. I mean, 3 out of their 4 board members are of the Jewish people.
yeah.
Now, he has really burned a lot of fucking bridges. Like, whatever this... Normally, I look at Kanye as, I don't think he's crazy. I think he's always... It's always a marketing scheme for him. He wants all eyes on something. But my question is here, what was the plan? Because from what I see, you just trashed every real business connection you had to mainstream sales. So I don't know what he's trying to achieve right now. And here's the thing: there's things he talks about that makes me sad. Like, he says his 6-year-old kid said something to him, and he goes, that's what he's saying now. What is he gonna be saying at 16? What is he gonna be saying at 25? He's like, I'm not there. I'm not in the house. They removed me from the house. He's also the crazy bastard that bought a house right next to where they moved. Make sure he could be in the kids' lives because he's got the money and fuck everybody. Which I applaud that.
That's a real man. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't. If I had unlimited resources and I divorced my wife and she wanted to move somewhere, I can't say I wouldn't buy the house next door. In fact, I would make sure our backyards connect so they always have somewhere safe to go.
Yeah.
But Yee is crazy though, right? Like, it's not just that he moved next door to Kim, it's he's sitting outside in the patio in a hoodie that's dirty, just like on the Lex Friedman fucking interview, just staring.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem with that shit is his side sounds innocent, and we all know she's a vapid twat. He knew she was a vapid twat before he put it in her.
Well, I wouldn't call her vapid.
I would in certain regards. Well, okay, materialistic, I guess, for sure.
Yeah. Well, vapid to me is brainless, and she's not brainless.
No,
she
that's
knows
true.
Exactly what she's doing.
Vindictive.
Okay, yeah, fine. Vindictive.
This is off topic, but the whole talk of the thing was when she started dating Pete Davidson, was like, oh, big dick Pete Davidson. Then a video came out of Kanye in his briefs, and that motherfucker's got a python, so I don't understand what the talk about, like, white boy Davidson was compared, you know what I mean?
No, that's the thing too, and like, well, Kanye in the interview claims that Pete Davidson talked shit to him first, sent him texts of himself from like her bed and shit.
It's
and
creepy. It's creepy that Pete Davidson got his kid's initials tattooed on it.
That's so weird.
That's fucking weird. Like, you've been together months. It's fucking weird. Like, I get it. You're in Hollywood, and Hollywood's
they're
weird.
not together now.
No, and he's got this tattoo of Yee's kids on his fucking, or Ye's kids on his arm.
He's got tattoos for Ariana Grande and shit too, and look where that turned out.
Well, I mean,
and it's like fine, the kid's hung. He's still a weird fucking scarecrow looking motherfucker.
I mean, Pete Davidson is I wouldn't want to be the person sleeping in the bed next to him. I never know what that motherfucker's gonna do. I wouldn't trust his ass. He's like a crackhead without crack.
Yeah, he's a weird fucking dude. And then, you have Kanye also brought this up. He's like, I knew that shit wasn't gonna last. She likes black dudes. She don't like white dudes.
I mean, we've all seen the tape.
Yeah.
And married to him.
Yeah. And you know what? They don't look this similar. And I'm not saying all black dudes look the same. Ray J and Kanye do kind of look alike.
A little bit, yeah. They're both smaller in stature too.
Yeah, the goatee.
She likes dudes she's taller than.
Kanye's got a fatter face. Also, she used to be way hotter than she is now. I don't know what she's doing with.
She's plastic the fucked up right now.
Yeah, like Actually, I think she got part of her butt removed.
She's
because
got, no,
people
I'm
were
talking
telling
in her
me-
face, and she's got filler and collagen and
Yeah, I don't
Botox
really
and
mind her-
motherfucking
I don't
baby
mind
whale
her face,
fat.
but her ass looks like she'd shit her pants. Like,
Well,
it
that
doesn't match.
her flesh isn't made to hold all that fat back there. She's got a relatively thin frame. It's gonna
Yeah, but I
sag.
mean that's not real. It just looks fucking gross. I don't know. Anyway, that's not the point.
So she went with
He-
short black dudes, and her sister went with tall basketball players who have an overdose of drugs in a bunny ranch.
Well, just that one.
Well, I mean, what's the youngest one was going with? What, that rapper or whatever, wasn't it? Chloe or not Chloe?
Yeah,
Whatever, cunt face, whatever
that's
her name is.
Kendall, I think.
Yeah, it's a twat lips. She was going out with a rapper or something like that.
Yeah, I think fuck, the dude from Pittsburgh,
Whatever. I don't give a
I
fuck.
think.
Doesn't matter. Fuck them. Hope they burn alive.
Anyway, no, but he brings up in the podcast that this is his evidence for the Jewish conspiracy,
Jesus.
which this is his evidence, not mine. I'm just relaying something I listened to. He said my Jewish agent took me to a Jewish doctor, then said Jewish agent leaked to the media that he took me to a Jewish psychiatrist. The Jewish psychiatrist leaked to the media that he shot me full of drugs. And now anytime I say anything, people say I'm off my medication.
I get that, but like, okay, so here's what you know me. I'm gonna pick apart fallacies and
Yeah.
logic, and the fallacy of his logic is rather than thinking, oh, my Jewish agent knows a fellow Jewish person in his community who has power in this realm, so they set me up for character assassination. Both of them Jewish might come into play with them running in the same circles, but doesn't
Well-
indicate a cabal when it's two dudes connected to each other via personal relationship who decide to help each other character assassinate you. Not the same.
But then he brings up TMZ.
Harvey Weinstein. Okay, what about the Harvey Levin? What about the dreaded black guy, the braided black guy who's always there, who attacks Kanye verbally? That's the fallacy, right? It's a Jewish cabal because Harvey Levin runs TMZ, but let's not talk about the fact that the black dude is the one who attacks me most. Then you go in the conspiracy of, well, who's controlling that black guy? Rabbit hole, my friend.
Yeah, well, no, I know. He also says that all black people are Jews. So figure this out.
Well, he says that probably in the reference to being slaves, to being ridiculed and mistreated. Ignores the Irish.
No,
thing.
he also brings up like the thing of like we was kings, we were pharaohs. He's like, we weren't.
No, they weren't.
We weren't.
They weren't. He's right. Here's the thing. Is what Kanye's saying right now any worse than what the black Israelites or Farrakhan have preached for 40 years?
No, except for
I'd argue it's much more mild.
Yeah, because he's not like preaching the destruction of white people.
Farrakhan is still but Farrakhan is a huge anti-Semite openly and still has a mass following in the black communities. That's why these people are defending him on Twitter.
Also defends who? Kanye?
Yeah.
Not that many people are defending Kanye.
Oh, well, so okay, let's talk about something real quick. I'm going to talk about Twitter specifically. Twitter has 14% of the US populace. As far as if we take their sheer numbers as legitimate, it's only 14% of the US populace that is on Twitter at all. I think it's like 35 to 50 million actual users on Twitter in the United States at any one time. Now, then we talk
users, I think.
But then we talk about bots. So if we say 30% of those are bots, then we have even less percentage of actual Americans on Twitter. So what that means is everybody on Twitter is 10% of the country, which means it's nothing but a bubble. The real world has nothing to do with Twitter. So when people argue on Twitter, like stupid Kanye, and because I'm sorry, if you're on Twitter arguing with people, Victor, you're a fucking goon.
I don't argue with anybody. I just lurk.
It's not real world. It is a fantasy land that these fucking idiots go into So they think they're being heard but all it is bots and other fucking thought bubble idiots. Twitter's a cesspool that doesn't impact it impacts sections of the real world, as in if you go on Twitter and you say I'm going to blow up a church, you're going to get arrested. If you go on Twitter and you say I'm, white power, blah blah blah, you're going to get in trouble for that. But other than that, the opinions on Twitter are not real world opinions. That's right. Welcome back to Rock 91. That's Mean Streets by Van Halen. That's the Van Halen, not Van Hagar. How's it going, Vilker? Welcome back.
Well, I mean, you got, we're going to change things up a little bit, and we're going to rock it on down with Somebody to Love by Queen up next.
I had a deep thought there for a second. Boy, was he a good guitarist, huh?
Who, Brian May?
Him too, but Mr. Halen, Mr. Van Halen.
Mr. Dude, Van Halen, yes, until the Hagar days.
Now tell me, do you think that poor Wolfgang is just swelling with fucking morbid obesity because his poor daddy? Dude, that poor Wolfgang, he was already getting like fucking fat as shit. And then fucking Eddie dies and now he's just ballooning. Fucking Blues Traveler before he knows it.
Hey, that dude can write a song though.
Hey,
the hook does bring you back.
I'm more of a Dave Matthews Band guy.
Well, fuck you.
You mean to tell me I did it?
Respectfully, fuck you.
I Did It is a good song. The Dave Matthews Band song I give a shit about because it's the only one I like.
I Did It?
He's all like, I did it. You think I've gone too far? It's a weird song, but I like it. I think he was referencing dumping shit on people.
Yeah, probably. That's exactly what he was doing.
Dave Matthews Band takes a shit and he just dumps it right over the waterway in downtown Chicago, right on top of a boat.
Because they fucking deserve it.
Yeah, right. Did he not realize, or did whoever did it not realize that, like, we no longer put sewage in the Chicago River? Not intentionally?
Not intentionally.
Just saying.
Well, I don't know. You're probably a Springsteen fan too, aren't you?
No, not at all. I don't give two dicks about Bruce Springsteen. I think he's a hypocrite and a retard. I don't like his music. I don't understand the appeal.
He's got a couple of good songs.
No, I think it was an era thing where you had to grow up, oh shit, he's the boss, he's cool, and I look at him like, he's a fucking douchebag.
No,
he's a douchebag. Sounds like you're a fucking Springsteen fan, though, you little pansy.
Yeah, a couple of songs. Glory Days is a cool song.
Glory Days is okay. What else has he got again?
Born in the USA, but I'm not big on it.
Born in the USA.
And then he just trashes the USA for like 3 fucking verses,
He writes a song called Born in the USA, and then it's like, but I want open borders. Yeah. His politics are retarded.
Well.
He's also a huge hypocrite. Like, he's like, no, man, I'm just an American. It's like, well, your average American doesn't have millions, cocksucker. You're not average American.
Well, I still wear a bandana and jeans and a day goatee.
Your jeans are $300 a pair, dipshit. You should talk to your assistant.
I think it's funny? You don't have to edit that.
You don't. I hope not. Maybe. No. We might have to. We're all going to die soon. What happened?
The Dagos ain't going to complain.
Italians and Irish don't complain about shit. Like, if you're in the room with them and you say
Irish
something,
complain about the slavery thing.
Well, I mean, they kind of have some credence. We also like to forget that along
Clearwater Revival.
You know what? The only California man that sounds Cajun for no reason.
He does.
For no reason.
I got to give it to him. He sold it.
So here's the thing, though. One of my I love the song "Run Through the Jungle." It's probably my favorite Creedence song. But there's a part where he goes, "Thought I heard a rumbling," and it's like,
yeah,
you're from Northern California. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I actually watched a documentary on Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Also, that would be more like Northeast than it is.
Whatever his accent is like he's just made a gumbo. He's got a crab boil going on in the backyard.
Dude, no. Born on the Bayou, he's selling it.
And
He's
it's
all
like
about
at
it.
that point in his life, literally the documentary was like he had never visited the Bayou, like he had never been there.
Yeah, and then like him by himself, I don't like it all. John Cozy.
No, but CCR, man, is a kick-ass good
yeah.
band. You know who else is pretty
no
good
doubt.
is I love the song Black Betty. And the music video is even better because it's just a redneck white dude.
A little
bro.
Ram Jam?
Little Ram Jam. Whoa, Black
That's
Betty.
their only song though.
Yes, but the video is them in a backyard and it's a fucking redheaded white with his guitar just and fucking singing at the same time. It's ridiculous.
No, that that riff is fucking cool.
Yeah, it is.
One of my favorite riffs is Money for Nothing, Dire Straits.
Okay, I can get into that.
They're Australian though.
Okay. Trample the Bobby. That's not a knife.
Also, in smaller demographic like classic rock stations, you can catch it where he's still saying the F word and it's on the radio.
Oh, little isn't a millionaire. Yeah. You know what's funny about that is interesting. I never thought about that. There was a band, something Revolution, something I can't. They had that one song, one more, Mr. Deadman. I can't remember the band's name, but in that song, he takes the line from Dire Straits and he goes, "Little F-word is a millionaire." And James Van Osdale. He
says it twice.
James Van Osdale was like, "Screw it, I'm playing this song. We don't have an edited version." Played it live. My dad and I were in the car, heard it live. We were both like, "Whoa!" Got fired for it. We got to hear James Van Osdale get fired from Q101 for playing the unedited version with the F word in it. The other F word.
Yeah.
I think that should be the symbol when it's like the other F word. You gotta do that. The other F word.
Yeah.
Or if it's lesbians.
That little F word's got his own jet airplane. That little F word, he's a million.
What do you know, and here's the thing. That word was so wildly used in entertainment in the 80s. Like, there is a scene in Lethal Weapon where Mel Gibson's Riggs is on fire. And Murtaugh is patting him out. And he goes, "What are you, an F-word?"
I think it's Lethal Weapon 3.
No, it's the first one. When they go to her house and it blows up, Murtaugh is like patting his fire jacket, which is on fire, out. And he goes, "What are you doing? Don't touch me. What are you, an F-word?" Like,
what are you, an F word?
Yeah, it is amazing when you go back, and look at movies up to 2001. That shit was in everything. Movies where you wouldn't expect it. Like, look at Idiocracy.
Well, I mean, I'll bring this up again. I don't remember using. No, yeah, we would amongst each other. But like, I would never like look at it. I don't feel like I would. Well, maybe me.
I never once looked at a gay person and said that word, but I know I've called you it.
Yeah, for sure. I know I've called you it. I know I've called anybody that we went to high school with that.
Anybody that was in our circle at one. I mean, that's what. I mean, you. That's what you called your friends. It was a different time.
It was a different time, and I can't. I'm not saying it's beyond the realm of possibility for me to have said it to an actual homosexual, but I don't think I have. But I have called a lesbian a dyke more than once.
Dude, I'm just going to say this. I've got nothing against lesbians. I don't like studs. You don't have a dick. You're not a guy. Get away from me. We don't relate. You can have your hair short or cropped or whatever. You can dress like a man. We don't relate.
I'm going to take that a different way. I respect that more than being trans.
Okay, here's the thing. Why don't we'll break this down into a real discussion. Did you say that for funny, or do you genuinely dislike trans people?
I'm not saying I dislike trans people, and trans is probably a thing, but I don't I don't think that all of a sudden 10% of 13-year-olds are fucking trans is fucking accurate. And I think there's something going on there that needs to be looked at.
Well, it's definitely a fad. For one thing, we've made it a popular fad. We've made it Pokemon Go. Everybody's got to catch them all. Now, the thing is, being a trans person, I think, is a very real thing. But in my opinion, it is not a physical thing. It is a mental thing. Where I understand you feel like you are in the wrong body. However, that is a feeling. You are born in your biological body. Now, does this mean that I'm going to dead name people? Which is Tommy turns to Tina and you call him Tommy instead of Tina on purpose. I'm not going to disrespect you if you're trans. I'll respect it unless you are overbearing about it. If you get in my face and for one thing, anybody tells me to do anything, I'm automatically hostile against you. I don't care what your cause is. I don't care if you're trying to control my actions in an aggressive manner. I'm automatically going to go against whatever it is.
Well, I'm going to go with this too. Like, I wouldn't necessarily dead name anybody either, at least on purpose. Like, if you came out tomorrow and said you were Maria, I might call you Matt on accident. That's not, and it'd be unfair for you to fucking lose it.
So that's not true. I've seen from local media that if you were to misgender me in any way, I can tear apart a local GameStop.
Right. Also, with that being said, my point was, your clit is not a dick. And on the other spectrum, your dick isn't a clit. Although it might be clit sized.
I mean, they do, I believe that's what they do when they lob it off, isn't it? They cut it off and then use the excess skin to form a vagina.
Form a hole, yeah.
Now, where I really start to disagree with the trans movement is when you tell me things like men can have children and I need to accept that. And then you look at the man that's having a child and it's a female on testosterone and other hormones.
The other thing I don't agree with, my other issue, I guess, however you want to word it.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
If you're not trying to pass as a female, you don't get to say you're a female.
I will also, if you're protesting and screaming at me in a dude's voice, I'm not going to be very respectful of you.
And have a beard and you're talking about how you're a woman?
So I want to bring this up too, because it's for whatever reason, it keeps being relevant. I believe you had, what was it, Florida or Texas just banned certain books from their libraries? And then somebody posted...
It might have been both.
Somebody posted somewhere some of the pages of these books, including imagery of a young man sucking a dick, including imagery of a dick getting hard.
It was Texas and I think Florida.
So my question is,
for sure Texas.
What age are these books being shown to is my first question.
My understanding is it was like fucking second and third graders.
Okay. If it's high school, I don't think there's harm foul. But if you're talking primary and or even middle school to a degree, yeah, what the fuck?
No, and it's like instructions on how to do it.
Yeah. It's instructions how to jerk off, it's instructions how to suck a dick.
Yeah, no, none of that's okay. I don't give a fuck.
So I want to put this in perspective because people are going to
actually even for high school, like that's not not what school's for.
Here's the thing. The only equation to this to see if this is proper is it would be the same, or the most analogy I can think of is if I pushed, or if there was books in the libraries that were being taught to second graders that taught you how to eat pussy, that taught you how to pick up a woman and fuck her on the first night. Like,
grab her by the pussy, if you will.
But yeah, because that's what this is. This is the gay version of getting into sex acts. So for me, what you have to equate it to is, okay, there's books that we're teaching to second graders that show them how to fuck doggy style a woman. Like, it's weird. It has no place. Frankly, I don't think these, I mean, here's the thing is the sex ed programs in public schools are shit. Why are they still even there?
Well,
when they get to high school, sure. Most high schoolers at this point are already active. So, like, what are we actually teaching our children? Because back in the day, it was always abstinence.
I would say, right, which I don't agree with either.
No.
It should be, you should be on the pill or use a condom,
Responsibility.
or
Enjoy yourself responsibly, just like we say everything, but that's everything, right? We say that for beer, we say that for cocaine, we say it for weed, we say it with prescription pills, we say it with everything. So, like, none of the telling people enjoy responsibly does nothing. In fact, I think it does the opposite, where people, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna get hammered, I'm gonna take 2 Xanny bars and an Ambien.
Yeah, but preaching abstinence isn't the right fucking thing either.
No, not at all.
I don't have a problem with sex education. I have a problem with teaching my son or daughter how to suck a dick. Like, that's not, let them figure that out on their own. Like, that's not for the public school system to teach them.
If those are the legit pages that are in those books, they have no place in the school.
I believe it is.
Also, I'm going to disagree with you with the high school level, seeing as most teenagers by 15 are sexually active. I mean, when were you sexually active?
17, 16.
So I will say this.
16 or yeah.
I will say this. There is an argument to be made for the kids that are gay, are lesbian. There is an argument to be made of there are. I mean, because you're born that way, right? That's we've established.
Yeah, I don't.
So
well, I think there can be some trauma based things that go into it, but yeah, I'd say first and foremost, yes.
There can be trauma. There can also be nurturing. But that's what I think we're seeing in the trans movement is more nurturing than anything, where a little boy picks up a doll and like, oh, are you sure you don't feel like a little girl? It's these parents, Munchausen syndrome living through their children. Yeah. But I think that's a big part of it. Where every housewife who's bored is now diagnosing their kid with transgenderism, or their kid goes to a school and there's a transgender kid, and it's just like back in the day when one of the kids got something new. You know, a buddy of mine dyed his hair when we were a kid. He dyed it red. It ended up being orange. So every kid wanted to dye their hair. So that's part of it too. Oh, you're transgender. You're getting attention. I'd like some of that attention. I'm not, and that's not to discredit kids who actually feel that they are transgender. I actually feel bad for those kids who literally just. I mean, once again, my analogy of people being a production line. You're gonna have, but except they're not. How do I put it? Because the idea was you're gonna have bad apples being the crazies, right? So then the other idea is you're also going to have ones that are imperfect. And I feel like a true trans person who they're born biologically, whatever, and they just feel with everything in their mind and their heart, they are the other gender. I do not want to negate that experience. I feel like mentally, I understand. It's got to be really hard being entrapped in a body that you don't see fits you. But there's limits. There's limits to where, and I often question when does it become self-abuse? Because there is an alarming, the alarming statistic of at this point, close to half of transgender post-ops kill themselves. Very sad statistic.
Oh, and I was gonna say too, like, I understand where it's mental and physical affliction for people that really have it. Like,
Yeah, which I think we're still hovering around legitimately 3% of the populace is. I mean, I won't argue that you didn't have people after it became popular go, you know what, maybe that's what's been going on with me my whole life. Like, holy shit. So I'll give 4% of legitimate numbers.
Okay, but like this thing where like in, some schools it's like fucking 20% of the boys want to be girls, and it's like that's not reality. It doesn't follow the numbers. It's not.
Well,
that's a fad. You have kids looking for attention.
Yeah, they want to be like the kid that's popular right now because they say they're transgender.
And the other thing is, for people that are really trans, really have up until like 2 years ago was called body dysmorphia.
Which I think some journals are relabeling it that.
Are they starting to relabel it? Because they unlabeled it that.
I know. I might be wrong, but I could have swore I read an article where it said that it might not have been in the U.S., but I feel like one of the whatever has put it back on the list of the term for it.
Probably Sweden or Norway or something.
Well, see, and here's the
That has
weird.
said, like, enough of this. But go ahead.
Well, the weird conversation that we need to have is like, if we allow this shit to continue, how weak are we as a country? Like, I'm sorry, but you can't. The transgenders in the military is a problem because the vast majority of them are already on some sort of psychotropic anxiety depression pill.
I don't disagree with you. They don't belong in the military.
I don't think
I could argue with you.
Yeah, I feel like the problem with that is if I went to apply to go into the military and I was on several medications, including hormones, they wouldn't let me in. I don't think they belong. I think honestly the medical baggage they have is too much to deal with enlistment and not in a negative way.
What is that called? 8F or whatever?
I don't know, dude. I know people that are serving. I know people I know this one girl who basically didn't make it through basic, but she talks like, she married somebody who is enlisted, but talks as though she's seen, and it's just like, bro, you didn't do anything. Like, you're a civilian. You never weren't a civilian. You didn't make it past basic, which means you weren't sworn in as a member of the military. You were always still a civilian. Like, knock it off. Just because you fuck soldiers doesn't mean you were a soldier. Let's stop this.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, and personally, I don't think women belong on the front lines. They can be nurses. They can be.
Well, they can make sandwiches for the soldiers. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, you're not. Women are more sensitive. Like, these are real things. Women are more sensitive. Women are more.
Calm down, Andrew Tate.
I was trying to channel Jordan Peterson.
Oh, don't tell me what to say. Don't try to control my language.
And then I'm gonna start crying because we bloody need men.
We need them. Who's gonna fight the wars? You have no problem hurting my feelings.
There is a point there. Like,
no, I agree. I do agree with him on that. Where at a certain point, we're gonna need the machismo. We're gonna need that masculine element.
Yes, we need men. We don't need more women. We have enough women.
Well, did you read? Now, this is a big thing I've been seeing all over the place. I literally saw 5 videos that all rolled the same statistic in my, like, as I was rolling through these things. And it was by 2030, half of the women will be unwed in America. Like, that's what they're predicting. I mean, it's a weird thing. I mean, Japan's there now. Women outnumbered. I mean, if you ugly bastard, you go to Japan, you'll get hot women because they flock to white dudes. That's like a white dude mecca. Huh? Thank you, sir.
I know. I've always wanted to go.
Oh, Puckman, my wife. You like a Puckman too? And they come up to me. They're like, "You want to go to get bubble tea?" Of bubble tea.
I'm just gonna say, shut the fuck up, you G-word whore, and bend over.
Oh my god, that's. I was over here thinking of how hard the language barrier would be. And you're just thinking about butt fucking.
I think they mostly speak English. I never said anything about butts.
Oh, you said bend over.
But yes.
I went full
doggy style.
I went full American History X.
Have you not learned anything from the books in sex ed class? I'm talking about doggy style.
I got the one where they show how to suck a dick. Was that the right one?
Yes, for you, yeah.
The gay edition. Oh, that would be so fucked up if the like you got
Volume
your like think about nobling.
I think I got the wrong book. No, you got the right one.
Think about nobling, right? Walking around handing out the books, right? Just all stocky nobling, Mr. all 5'2" of him, and I wouldn't
fuck with him though.
I wouldn't either. He's old now, and I still wouldn't. Fucking bite your ankles to death. And so like he's handing out the books, right? And you get one, and you're like flipping through, and you're like, "What the fuck was this? Did you see this?" And he's like, "What page?" Your buddy's like, "Nah, dude, I don't have that on that page." And you're like, "Excuse me, I think I got the wrong book." And he comes over to you, goes,
"You didn't.
You got the right book. Trust me, buddy. Read up." And he walks away. Fuck, that would be funny. Oh, I wish we were.
Him and his
I wish we had a
him and his
studio
dumb
to
Polak
film.
wife.
I wish we could. I wish we can get together with Sam Hyde and film that one.
Oh fuck.
We'll email him and never get a response.
I don't know. I bet he's pretty interactive. No, I bet he's not.
The amount of hate that poor guy. Well, before he did the whole boxing thing, I think he's in a better light now.
Oh, speaking of box, are we done with that?
I don't give a fuck. Let's go.
All right. First of all, I want to say trans people are fine, but don't expect me to act like that shit's normal because it's not. You're not normal. I am.
I think what
But there's nothing wrong with what you are.
Yeah, I think both sides, even the ones that are like the progressives can go fuck themselves, but like I think both sides, on the trans side need to understand that like not everybody is going to be as comfortable as they should be with you because you are the abnormality, not in a negative way, but you do have and I'll be straight up, you but part of it is also closed-minded people on the society. Like we are at a point nowadays where if you are ignoring what it is to be a trans person, even if you disagree with it, but if you're just one of those people that flat out closes it out where like that shit doesn't exist, you're a boy. That's where the problem begins, I think, on the other side, because you're not trying to meet in the middle. Like this side is screaming at you, you misgendered me, so I'm gonna destroy your GameStop. And this side's going, no, you got a dick, go fuck yourself, sir. And that's the problem, is there needs to be respect on both sides. The trans movement needs to understand that not everybody is going to conform as easily to the understanding that you know, especially if you're dealing it within your family, certain people, it's going to take a lot longer emotionally to go, okay, you know, Jen or Jan is now Jen, or, you know, whatever. John is now Jen.
Yeah.
Like, or vice versa. It's got to be hard for family members to take that in, and it's like, it's not easy on either side, and especially if you're close to that person. In the other spectrum is just understand that there's going to be some people that just, if they look at you and kind of walk away, you can take offense, but I mean, honestly, why waste the energy? Like,
they didn't say shit. They aren't saying anything to you, so
well, I mean, you know, I've felt when people have been silently judging, believe me, it's not fun.
Yeah, me too.
But in the same token, who gives a fuck about them? Like, if you're you and that's who you want to be you, but understand that there is going to be awkwardness. Just, it is what it is. There's awkwardness, and there's awkwardness for me because I'm overweight. It is what it is. Nobody, I mean, well, you do have your overweight apologist people, but they're fucking morons. Oh, you're perfectly healthy. No, you're not. 600 pounds is not beautiful, nor is it healthy. You're just a bucket of human.
No. But you know what? I gotta say, I don't mind what they're calling plus size models, because for the most part, I wouldn't call them plus size. They're thick.
Plus size is thick, basically.
Yeah.
You don't really ever get a real tubbo as a plus size.
Besides Lizzo. Lizzo the tubbo.
I like how we, in the music and Hollywood industry, we have glorified essentially a bucket of shit. Like, nothing against her personally, but like, you're not healthy. Your vegan diet, which is so high in caloric intake, it explains how you can be that fat as a vegan.
What the fuck is she eating?
That's the thing, is vegan food's not good for you, because everything they make that's artificial, that's supposed to taste like meat, it's all filler.
Oh.
And so, like,
yeah.
that's always been my thing, is like, how do you get fat vegans? And if you look at the Burger King Impossible Whopper, it is more calories than a real Whopper because of all the artificial filler they put in the patty.
I don't know that to be true, but I'd believe it. Probably a lot of sawdust.
Almost, yeah, with Chinese newspaper. But that's the thing, is like, so a vegan diet doesn't mean healthy. Like, you can maybe feel self-righteous, but if you're as big as Lizzo and you're a vegan, you're either A, lying, or B, you are consuming way too many artificial products that will kill you. This you can say she's beautiful, and I'm not even going to argue, but the fact of the matter is, at her current weight, if she keeps going, she'll be dead before 60.
I don't see it, but I don't see her. I don't see it. with her.
I don't either. Like attraction,
like-
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't. I think Adele is a more attractive chubby.
I would agree. I also kind of feel the same thing about Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, she looks terrible.
I know
Elle
she doesn't
Roker
look. She doesn't look terrible, but it's. She is somebody that I would like to at least have maybe a little bit fuller of a face.
Yeah, and then it's the same thing with like Al Roker. You didn't do anything about that extra skin you have hanging off you.
Well, no,
And
I think
you still don't look good.
Rebel Wilson's different. She's actually her body. She's getting toned, and it's just it's you're not used to seeing her facial
She's got
structure.
jowls.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's anything you can do about that. I mean, you can do like a nip tuck maybe, but
Yeah, but it's like.
But maybe she doesn't want to cut her face up, and or as best as she.
No,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
agreed.
I'll give her props
Agreed,
for
but
that.
People are gonna say you look weird.
I mean, I don't think. I mean,
I
she
don't know.
looks.
Do face fillers to make your face a little more full, so
Like,
you
here's
still
the thing.
look like you're supposed. You know.
I will agree with you. I do find like. Remember Keisha? She was
Yeah.
a singer. She was really
Yeah.
thin, and then like she disappeared for a bit and came back, and she was like, they were like, "Oh my god, look how much weight she's gained." And I remember that was the first time where I was like, "Holy shit, Keisha's kind of hot." Like when they were calling her fat, I was like, "All right, not bad." Like before, I was like, "She looks like she's on crack."
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
yeah,
Britney
I
Spears
like
looks
my-
like she's on crack all the time.
all the time now, but she went through a period where she was kind of chubby, and it was working for her.
Bro, I will say, I think in the wars of
Dang.
like,
Hey, have you seen Hillary Duff? Jesus Christ.
no, why?
That's like a lifelong crush. She was fucking hot as Lizzie McGuire. She's still hot now.
I used to have a thing for Topanga from Boy Meets World.
Yeah, Topanga. She still got it going too.
Yeah, she's still great looking for her in her 40s or whatever it is.
What a weird.
You know who
name.
also's
Why
great
they-
looking still? The roommate of their older brothers. You know
The
what that
black girl?
the white redhead. It was the one that Joey, the two, Eric, the older brother, and I think Sean were living together, and they were both pining for the girl's affection, which was their redheaded, nice looking roommate. Anywho, her name is
I don't remember
Her name is
all that.
Maitland Ward.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, she's doing a bit of
She's
the
doing
poem.
porn now.
Yeah, I read an interview.
Oh, you know who has a?
Hold on, I read an interview she did, and she's like, "Well, I just kept telling my husband how I had these cravings to fuck black men and these other guys, and he told me do it. He encouraged me," and I was like, "The fuck
Read
kind
the
of
cock.
dude?" I am so much a boomer in that regard, or traditionalist, whatever you want to call it. I am still amongst the class of men who go, if anybody but me touches my wife, I'll fucking kill you.
Don't disagree.